All right. So our recording has started. As Lori said, my name is Sam O'Sullivan. I'm here to talk about student success and also like just generally what's coming up next. You're in this transition period where you're moving from our lovely friends over at admissions who helped you get started all the way now to being a current student in just a couple weeks. And that's my role. My role is to support current students. So just a little bit about me. I graduated from Carroll myself in 2019 with a degree, a bachelor's of arts in Spanish and a minor in public health. I then got a master's in public health. So if you're interested in that, I'm a great person to talk to about the world of public health. I serve as the Assistant Director of Student Success here at Carroll. I'll talk more about what that means in a moment. I'm also an adjunct instructor, as is Annie. I teach in our general education. So this year I'm not teaching first year students, I'm teaching seniors. So maybe you'll catch me in a couple years in that CCS 400 class that kind of rounds out the general education here at Carroll. My office is on the lower level of the library. It's library 012. Door numbers don't really matter so much in the lower level of the library because they're all out of order. So just remember that I'm on the lower level. If you come down the stairs in the library, I'm the first office on the right next to the water bottle filler. So easy to find. Lori sometimes likes to call me the welcome friend. I'm your welcome friend as you are joining us here at Carroll. You may have already seen some emails from me. And then just some fun facts about me. I would love to see pictures of your pets. I'm a big animal lover. So if you ever just like want to come show me a picture of a cat, a dog, a guinea pig, would love to see it. I'm also in this new year, my one of my resolutions is to drink more tea instead of coffee. Right now I've got a turmeric tea. So if you've got tea recommendations, let me know. I would love that. So that's just a little about me so you know who I am. So a couple of questions that I'm getting right now from students that are really common as we're about 2 weeks out from the semester starting is how do I get things? How do I get what I need to get started? So for books, I'll walk us through how to get there. This was also in one of my emails. And then ID cards. I know that the PIO card office sent out an email not this past Friday, but the Friday before to students that they had down as registered incoming students for the spring semester and sent y'all an email about uploading a picture online so that your ID card is ready here at the campus center to pick up when you get here. If you didn't get that email, no worries. You can still get your PIO card just like anyone else would without submitting it early by just coming into the campus center, showing a form of ID so they know who you are. They take your picture right then and there, so be photo ready, and they can print your ID right there for you. So if you do it in advance, awesome. If you don't do it in advance, that's totally okay too. And then getting a parking permit. So I'm going to show you, starting with books, how to get to these things. Stop me if I'm going too fast, pop something in the chat or unmute and let me know if you've got questions. But what I'm going to do is stop sharing this, and then we'll go through books and parking permit and ID info on the website through Chrome. So I just got to share my other screen here. All right. So now we should be seeing the my.carrollu.edu website. If you're not super familiar with this website yet, don't worry, you will be. This is where most things live for current students. So on this page, just to get you orientated, this is Anthology. This is where you get you can see your class schedule, where you look at your GPA when you have one from Carroll, your transcripts. If you've got transfer credits, you can run an unofficial transcript to see if they've been uploaded to your record yet, and paying bills. That happens in Anthology. This is how you get to your Carroll email. This is Canvas. This is where all your information for your classes will be in terms of like turning in assignments, the syllabus, all of that kind of stuff. Chronos will be important if you work on campus. This will be how you do your time card. And then this search tool often gets overlooked, but you can search any person who works at Carroll or goes to Carroll to get their contact info, or just things on the website. So if you're like, I remember Sam showed me something about the bookstore, but I don't know how to get there. You just search bookstore. It'll give you a link to the bookstore. It'll give you the link to the department page for it. So don't forget about this search option. I don't know where most things are on the my.carrollu. I use the search option most times. So keep that in mind. Let's go to the bookstore. So under departments, we're going to click on that, and then it's alphabetical. So bookstore is right up here at the top. We click on that. And then when you log in, it gives you some information here. So it wants you to navigate to the Carroll University bookstore using Firefox. That's new for me. I haven't seen that before, so that's good to know. And then select the term, and then you can use it to order books, access digital materials. So if you order a book, but you order an ebook, then you'll want to go back in through here to access that book. And then if you're returning books or returning rentals, you got all that information here. They have very comprehensive how-to guides here that I'm going to pull up because I can't actually walk through showing you the bookstore because I'm not a current student. So we'll look through the how-to guide together. How to buy textbooks using BookCharge. BookCharge is a way for you to pay for your books by charging them to your student account, which means you just pay off your books just like you pay your tuition. So that can be really helpful for my folks who are receiving benefits or receiving scholarships or outside scholarships that are going to cover the cost of their books. You can charge it to your student account, and that way when those outside scholarships or those benefits come in, they get applied to your student account, and that could be how you pay for your books. Or you could buy with credit card, debit card, like normal online store checkout. And then rental returns and textbook buyback. So again, information about BookCharge here. Let's take a look at how to buy textbooks. We're going to download this guide and open it up. Okay, so now you should be seeing the PDF to access course materials. The first step is what we've already done, navigating to the Carroll portal, going to the bookstore page, and then clicking the link to access the university bookstore. A new window will open, and you'll have to click the right session. So for you all, it will be spring session 2024. And then the really nice thing is that the bookstore page knows what classes you're in, knows what section you're in, and knows who your professor is. So it will tell you what required and recommended materials are specifically for your classes. You don't have to go through, find your classes, match it up to a professor. The website does it for you. And then it will generally give you a few options, just like you're shopping online anywhere else, for if you would prefer to rent it, buy it new, buy it used, buy an ebook. It will show you all the options that Barnes & Noble can offer you. You'll just want to keep in mind when you're looking at it that you need the books that say required. You do not have to purchase the books that say recommended. Those are just recommended by the professor. So that's up to you if you get those. If you want to use the bookstore website to go ahead and see what you need for books, but you want to buy them somewhere else, totally fine. Just make sure you search by the ISBN number and not just the title of the book. The ISBN number will make sure if those match that you're getting the right book, the right edition, the right author, so that you're not having to return books or anything like that. The caveat I will say to buying books elsewhere is that generally for our lab science courses, anatomy, chemistry, biology, nursing, our professors here at Carroll write their own lab manuals. And so if you see that the author is Carroll University on a lab manual or a book, then you do need to purchase that one from us because our professors, our faculty here have actually written that specifically for our classes. You cannot buy that anywhere else. So that's my caveat on books. Questions before I move on to ID card info? All right. If you think of something later, no worries, pop it in the chat. So we're gonna go back, just refresh our Carroll page. You can, at the my.carrollu, you can do that by clicking the Carroll logo or doing the refresh. This takes us back to the home page so we can start fresh. So if you're one of the people who didn't end up getting an email from the PIO card office yet about getting your ID card and you want to know, like, how do I get one? What does that look like? That is information that you can find again on the my.carroll. So under departments, we are going to go to the campus center because that is where you get your PIO cards. This is the campus center for reference. This is right there on the corner of Easton College across the street from Voorhees Hall, where our transfer counselors have their offices. They have their hours listed so that you know when they're available for you to come in and go to the desk and pick up that card or get that picture taken and pick up your card. And then they have the Pioneer card page specifically with a picture of where the information desk is inside the campus center, so you know what you're looking for, what their hours are, their contact information, so you can make sure that they're available because we are a little bit on winter break hours, so you can call to check their hours there before you head on over. And then this just gives you some information about your Pioneer card, what you need it for, that you can change the name on your Pioneer card if that is the legal name we have for you is not the name that you go by. And then some information about getting your first Pioneer card. So you will need to bring proof of identification if you go in person, or you'll need to upload a copy of that if you do it online via the email if you received it. And so that's the big stuff about Pioneer cards. Again, lots of instructions here on what you need to do to get a Pioneer card, frequently asked questions. And then this is Jayla's contact information. She oversees the Pioneer card office. So if you've got questions or are having issues with that, Jayla is your go-to person. So that's ID cards. And next, I'm going to move on to parking unless I get any other questions. Parking info, you can find it on the my.carrollu. Personally, I usually just Google it because it's on our external website. So Carroll University parking. You could search it in the my.carrollu, but I just Google it every time. This takes us to our general parking information page. Public safety is a department on campus that oversees parking and also general safety on campus. And so they manage this process for us. So here you'll be able to find a campus parking map. This is great because it tells you where you can and cannot park as a student on a parking permit, where it'll literally tell you what your parking permit associates with for lots so that you can make sure that you're not going to get a parking ticket because you're parking where you're supposed to. There are 2 different applications for parking permits depending on if you live on campus or if you commute from off campus. So if you're living on campus, you'll want to complete the resident parking permit application. And if you're commuting from off campus, you'll fill out the commuter parking permit. You'll want to download the application and then email it after you complete it to public safety. And so that's how they will get you a parking permit issued. If you are a commuter, there is no cost to your parking permit. So if you're not living on campus, there is no cost to your parking permit. If you are living on campus, there are costs associated with parking permits that depend on where you end up being assigned to. So if you want to apply to park in the residence hall lot for the building you live in, that costs more. If you don't really mind walking a little bit over to the general overflow parking lot, that saves you a bit of money. And if you are looking at parking in the garage, if you happen to live in a building that has a garage attached, then that costs the most. These are per year costs. So you would be looking at dividing this by 2 to get the semester cost for the rest of the year. Questions on parking or parking permits? I just talked really fast about a lot of things, so I'll give you a second. Okay, so let's pop back to our presentation. I'm just going to do it like this because I'm probably going to pop in and out of it again. So we ran through that. This is the parking map. So like you can see, like it shows you a color for a parking permit. So let's just make this super big because it's very small so you can see. So guest and commuter parking is this darker green color. And it shows you that that is lot 3. So that's the one in the campus center. You look over here, this is lot number 9. The orange is also for commuter parking. And so you can see there's a lot of orange. We've got orange on the side of Swarthout. We've got orange. This is the overflow lot. This is where most people tend to park. This is back behind the education building on Barstow Street. This is in front of the tennis courts. And then this is on the other side of the railroad tracks behind our suite buildings, Prairie, Pioneer, and Frontier. This is closest to like the gym because there's gyms in Prairie. And Frontier, there's a classroom over here. One of our dining options is over here. So that lot 25 might be good if you're coming to one of these spaces. But this is pretty easy to read. You just make sure you use the key to match up to the lot. All our lots have signs and are numbered so that you know what lot you're pulling into. All right, that's parking lots. This is the Welcome Canvas course. I am going to be adding y'all to a Canvas page. So Canvas, like I said, is where your actual classes will be posted. So all the materials for your classes, the modules where you turn things in, that will all be on Canvas. I will invite you all to a Canvas page that has resources. So it's not a reinvention of the wheel. There is nothing on that Canvas page that can't be found elsewhere. It just is nice to have it all in one spot. So like the bookstore links, the PIO card links, all of that kind of stuff, to have it all together. And also information about other services that we're not talking about today, like advising or, our counseling center. We've had a lot of other teams like the counseling center, our recreation team, student accessibility services, housing, make videos for you all so that you can see the staff who work there, what they do, what they can do for you without having to, come to a big event or come to something. They just made a brief video overview for you all so that you can see what they do. So I'll be getting invites out for that shortly here. Just got to make sure all the information is still relevant for this year as we're in 2024. And so keep an eye out to your Carroll email for that. So circling back to what is student success? Who am I? What's my job? And what do I do other than help you get started in this school year? Student success is kind of a catch-all spot or a really good starting place for students who have concerns, have questions, and aren't sure where to go. And it can truly be about anything. My supervisor, Jeff McNamara, is across the hall from me. We make up the student success team. Between Jeff and myself, we have over 20 years of experience in higher education. Jeff carries most of it. He's in his 18th year here at Carroll. I'm on the newer side compared to him. So between the two of us, we've heard a lot of things. We've helped with a lot of things. So even if you think that we might not know what you're talking about or what you need help with, try us. We probably do. We probably know at least the person who does have the answer for you, or really good resources. Beyond being just resources and people who answer questions, we also do regular meetings with students. And so that can look different depending on what you need. Some students, I sit down with them and we kind of look at their planner, or I help them get started with a planner, help them get connected to the tutoring down here in the Learning Commons, make a plan for when they're going to go, kind of an accountability partner, if that's what you're looking for. If you just need someone to talk to and hear you out and help you figure out what you're going to do next, happy to do that with you. We do have a counseling team of trained and certified mental health counselors, therapists for that. Great question, Thomas. Do we handle accessibility? That is a different department. So that is our Student Accessibility Services Office. And that their information can also be found on the my.carrollu. So if we just go back to the start and hit departments, we scroll down to the bottom, Student Accessibility Services. I can put this link in the chat for you. This team supports students with disabilities, helps set up accommodations. They have an accommodation request form. This is the best way to get started with their office so that they know what you need. They do, I believe, ask for documentation in this form. If you do not have your documentation handy or you don't have documentation, that's okay. Still complete the form. They will follow up with you to make sure that they have everything they need from you. So don't let that stop you from submitting the form and getting started talking to them. They are also available via email, via phone call, and their office is open over break now that the university is all back starting today. If you wanted to stop by and chat with them, I'd recommend making an appointment so that they're available, but they've got a lot of information on their page. So that's something that we do a lot in student success is refer people to the right places. Tessa Timler is a director over there. Tessa and the student success team work really closely to support students, help problem solve, facilitate conversations with faculty and professors, things like that. And that's pretty much an overview of what student success does. I try to keep it intentionally vague because I don't want you all to think that there's something specific that we do and that stops you from coming to see us. Come see us if you're struggling, if you're worried, if you've got anything going on that you need help with. We'll help you get it sorted out, or we'll help you get to the right person for that. So, only got a couple minutes left here, so I want to make sure we've got time for your questions. My recommended next steps on the top of the other next steps that you're already getting information about from your counselors is to make sure you read all your emails, get started on books, make sure you have a plan for your ID card if you're going to come in person, or if you got the email and you're going to follow those steps. Make sure you review and accept your financial aid. Bills, so tuition and housing and all the stuff that you get billed for is technically due on the first day of classes. Late fees do not start accruing that day. They start accruing after a month. So if you've got questions about that, the business office website, again, just a Googleable thing, Carroll University Business Office. They've got a bunch of information on payment plans, which I suggest you enroll in unless you plan to pay your tuition all at once at the start of the semester. If you would like to be on a monthly payment plan, you got to make sure you enroll in that soon. Those are open for enrollment now. If you have questions on how to pay your bill, all of that stuff, Google Carroll University Business Office. That they have a ton of information on their website that's very helpful. If you're struggling to find something, let me know. I'm happy to connect you. Check your class locations. So like I said, in Anthology, you can get in there and see your class schedule. And then come to one of my sessions. I'm going to plug here next. I'm hosting an in-person welcome session on January 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. in Hosted Hall, room 140. This is a picture of Hosted Hall. You can see the stadium over in the corner here. So this is on Barstow Street. Thanks, Lori, for the business office link in the chat. And so you can just get to campus and you'll find Hosted Hall. It's behind Main if you're coming in from east. If you're coming from Barstow, then you come in right off of Barstow. Hosted would be to your right if you're walking onto campus from Barstow Street. And then on January 17th from 3 to 5 p.m., I will be hosting a virtual welcome session. These two sessions are nearly identical. The content I will be providing and the information I will be providing will be much like today, going over and getting you as much information as I can as quickly as possible so that you're ready to get started with classes that week and you have what you need to hit the ground running. The difference will be that the in-person session has an opportunity to meet other students, and we like to start that one with a little bit of like a get to know you thing. So hopefully that doesn't scare you away. Hopefully that makes you want to come and meet people. But if you're really not that person who wants to talk to other people, then maybe the virtual session's better. Or if you're that person who's like, yes, I need to start meeting people right away, then January 14th in person would be great. And then there's a student resource carnival instead of a fair this year on the first day of classes, January 18th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. in the Campus Center ballroom. If you got to come pick up your ID card and you haven't moved in yet, or you're a commuter student, that's a great day and time to come grab your ID card because then you can just hop upstairs and catch the student resource carnival. So this is where I'm going to stop talking and let you ask any questions or make sure that I cover anything that y'all have questions about right now as you go through this process.
Thanks, Sam. And don't be afraid to jump in, anyone, if you've got any kind of question. It really can be anything. And I threw Sam's email in the chat as well. You can always still reach out to admission, but we just start at this point to help you get to know some of the others on campus who will be your next set of resources, which of course is Sam. So feel free to let any of us know if you come up with a question. And I highly recommend going to one, if not both, of Sam's welcome meetings that she does have set up. It's really, really a lot of great information. All right, well, if there isn't any questions, I think then that's a wrap. Thanks, Sam, so much for doing that.